Yeah, in the creative world, the internet dollar has changed, and value now comes at a cost.
Based in Los Angeles. Let me stop with this bullshit. God damn it!
Hey yo, it's Xavier baby. What's good with it? It is the 23rd of July. We're halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year. Time is ticking, y'all. Yeah, my name is Xavier. I'm an artist based in Los Angeles, multi-dimensional artist. You know, I make music, I make beats. I'm gonna start doing that on this channel. That'd be so beautiful. I want to do a few walkthroughs, but that is besides the point of this video. You know, I make 3D art, I make music, and you know, like collage work, you know, kind of motion graphics and stuff like that. But we're here to talk about the 3 magic steps, y'all. The 3 magic steps. It is inheritive to everybody, you know, making content these days, to either get it right or just like, you know, you're either putting way too many of your resources into one thing and you're hoping one video kind of, you know, does all of the work for you, you know. So the whole point of this video is to show artists of any kind. This kind of like a video for anybody really. Like if you're a freelancer or an artist. Artists are pretty much fucking freelancers at this point, you know. But yeah, in the creative world, the internet dollar has changed, and value now comes at a cost. There was once a time where an artist could drop a song, you know, and get in touch with the right people and begin making career off of that song, or you know, or that art piece, you know, because the value at that time, people were actually buying physical copies of music or physical copies of art, you know, and the development of said artist was the next step. Now, the trade-off is that you can potentially make a song or drop a reel and go viral overnight. You know, everybody's watching your stuff, everybody's listening to your song, and acclaims and tons of streams, and then none of these people know the first line to your song at, you know, your show, or even before that, you know, they're not even clicking on the link in your bio to even know that you have a show, you know. So oh, unfortunately, unfortunately, this is Janet's Sharpie. I'm sorry. I used to work. If you know, you know. I'm sorry, Janet. I have your pen. But yeah. Now the trade is you get overnight acclaim. You know, you got people on their phones. I'm not great. I'm not great at this. And then you know they're scrolling. And it's like, woo! It's like views, 52,000 views, whoa. But then you ask this group of people to then move from Instagram and go to your website where you make money, artist dot I make money, you know. And let's see, let's type this out. So you got IG, you got the smaller socials, Twitter. Oh my god, let's pretend that's not there. Twitter, you got TikTok. Okay, IG, Twitter, TikTok, and you got socials like school. Oh my god, that's an L. You got socials like school, Twitch, Gumroad. Now, over here, they're offering discoverability. That is the main case point over here on IG, Twitter, all these guys over here. Let's just draw a little line. Let me fix this. Hold up, y'all. Let's get a little higher. Something like that. There's not enough space. Now artists and creatives are getting stuck in this, you know, creative digital loop where you're making content that may or may not do well, and while you're trying to make music at the same time, and it turns into the cycle of monotony where if you're not posting, you're not relevant. While you're trying to make music at the same time, and you're garnering no money from your views or streams from these platforms, and obviously you're trying to get them to another platform, Spotify or Bandcamp or whatever, and you can't get them over there, and even if they are, you're not making money on those platforms either. So you got Instagram, TikTok, and probably TikTok the biggest one. You can make an account on TikTok and then the next day have something blow up, and you're kind of just like, whoa, where did all these people come from? But they're kind of just like they're peaking. They're not necessarily following you yet, even though they're following you. So they will give you the ultimate source of discoverability over here on this side. You get the ultimate source of discoverability. And where if you either get it right or you go at it long enough, you will be rewarded with views and follows, maybe even tens of thousands of the same thing, at the cost of connection. So nobody is on nobody on IG wants to move. I have like a doctor's handwriting, so we're just gonna have to get rid of that. So nobody on TikTok, Instagram, or any of these short form content platforms are trying to grow their world. They are there simply to be entertained. That is the purpose, especially TikTok. They are just there to be entertained, or if you're looking up something very specific, but you don't want to be bored to death with like a longer YouTube video. So the vast majority of people who are on Instagram or go to Instagram or TikTok do not want to get off these platforms. And in fact, these platforms will catch you and they will actually kill your post, if you're trying to get people off of the platform. That's just not what they want. There's an algorithm in place to keep people on the platform for a reason. So they're making money selling ads and having their creators, run their services. That's how they make money. So why would they reward you for taking them off of their platform? And I'll give you an example. Have you ever clicked a link on IG to go to YouTube or somebody's website and you get just like this weird window, this weird browser, and you have to sign in? So you went from I'm watching Kiki,
I can't even see. Kiki, scrolling to.
oh, maybe I'll, click this person's thing. That's one step. Then they have to sign in. That's two steps. If they forgot their password, which they most likely did because they have no cookies on this website, then you're asking them to do 3, 4, potentially 5 steps. I'm exaggerating, but that is 5 steps to get somebody from Instagram to like your website or anything else off of that, just in case you had to sign in. That's a lot of steps, and I've been there. And you're asking this person to more or less take 5 extra steps from Instagram to get them to where you want to go. So even me, I'm guilty of going that far, thinking that I want to be friends with this person, and then I have to sign in or do something else, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that shit anymore. It's too much fucking work. So so then you got platforms like School and Twitch, Gumroad. You got Patreon, and I think Twitch specifically. Don't quote me. They take like 10% of your views or something like that. I totally forget. Don't quote me on that. But and then after a certain cap, like they go down to 5%. Like they're paying you. They want people to stay on their program as long as possible. Especially when streamers are doing 24 and 48-hour challenges and stuff. Like they are paying out so that people can stay as long as possible. Same thing with Instagram and stuff. But at the expense of the videos being way shorter. If you don't like somebody's video on Instagram, swipe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, doesn't matter. But if you don't like somebody's stuff on Twitch, it's like a complete it's like you're breaking up with your ex-boyfriend. Like it hurts. So the caveat over here is that you get almost zero discoverability. But they will pay you. They will pay. That's not even an arrow. It's not even an arrow. They will pay you for sure. So long as you bring your audience. You know, if you have an audience, you're famous on somewhere else, and you bring them there, or you do something crazy and it goes viral, and you get a bunch of people over here, you know, then they will pay you for the views that you get for sure. But they will not help you get a single fan. Zero fans. In fact, Twitch has like zero discoverability. Like there's almost no search engine. You have to go to Twitch and Patreon. I can't. Yeah, and Patreon with the idea that you already know this person pretty much. So, but think about it. You know, especially with streamers on Twitch doing 24 and 48 hour, 24 to 48 hour streams. People are dedicated to these people. People are dedicated to these people over here. On Instagram, hell no. You know, you watch the video, even if you follow it, it takes somebody 8 to 10 times on Instagram to follow you in the first place. And then from there they start to understand and maybe go back into your profile. But at the same time, you know, that's a slim chance. You know, so I tell my cousin all the time. You know, these kids don't understand the basic celebrity anymore. You know, they're dedicated to the streamers. Hold on, they're dedicated to the streamers like Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed. You know, because you know the sheer mass of content on the platform. You know, like one video from Kai could be from 20 minutes to 2 hours long. You know, so it's like these people, especially if you're watching them from YouTube, you would recognize them in public like a regular celebrity, you know. But on Instagram, slim chance to none. I work somewhere where I get to see a lot of influencers and stuff, and it's my coworkers that are always like, "Oh my god, like yo, I follow you on da 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 da," and I'm like, "Who?" So you know, the gap between here, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter to school, it's a huge gap. This is like mountains and like rivers and like trees and stuff, and then there's like the fucking dragon shooting fire, something like that. This gap is so large, you know. So what if I told you there's a sweet spot between all of this madness that allows you to, you know, have some bit of discoverability while also still being able to get paid, you know. And you know, just because that gap between here and here to the promised lands of getting people even to your own website, you know, is slim chance to none. So what is it? You're on that shit. It's YouTube, motherfucker. It's YouTube. It is YouTube. YouTube is the sweet spot. Especially when you start batching your content and people can recognize that some of it is coming from your YouTube, you know, especially if you're making tutorials or, you know, beat tapes, or you're trying to figure out, you know, like even vlogs and stuff. If you're like a Daniel Dalen type person and you're more about the process and just like the whole idea of your personal brand and stuff, and you get these ideas onto Twitter and Instagram and you get your following that way, and they believe in your personhood, they'll most definitely start to come to YouTube. And then once you start building on YouTube, you can take them to school or Gumroad or Patreon, because they're, you know, willing to watch you for more than just a few seconds. You know, like especially if it takes 5 to 7 times to see you over here, why wouldn't you start building up one video on Instagram, I mean one video on YouTube, you know, potentially if you're thinking about in the context of Instagram and like framing and ideas and stuff like that, you can make 10 videos from YouTube, you know, and slice them up and then put them on Instagram, you know, so you're doing less work, more or less. You know, you still have to ideate and maybe you're still scripting a little bit, but the idea is that you're doing one or two things over here and then breaking it up over here, so that you're not trying to get people to climb mountains and dragons and, you know, do all that crazy stuff. So hear me out. I don't always agree with the YouTube practices. I mean, they're owned by Google, for God's sake, but with the ad system and the creator program, it is a definite win that you can actually stay getting paid with less marginal error. I mean, you still have to make good videos, and I'm still in that kind of process too. You still have to make decent videos, but so long as your audio is right and your videos aren't like potato quality, it's like storing wealth, like a old mansion in Los Angeles, like especially if you put the time into your videos, like a Daniel Dalen type ask person, because you can have a video. I mean, Daniel Dalen specifically, his is a whole content study. That's definitely a little bit different kind of content than I make, but I think that's just a good creator study if you want to understand what it takes to make a business and post to YouTube and make content and have like an entire social brand of content, So I mean, go check out Daniel Dalen's stuff. But he posted once on his Instagram. He kind of has like the same idea. It's integrated kind of information. So I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that you see from YouTube ends up on Instagram, So he posts on his Instagram, hey, I'm in Bali or I'm in Indonesia or something fancy, something beautiful, something mountainous and just delicious looking, So he posted his story. He wants to go on a run or like a jog, a group run or something like that, and hundreds of people pull up. Like that's not where the dude is from. You feel me? And to have a social brand so strong that you can have, your YouTube, Instagram, and he obviously he sells glasses and he has his own kind of internet commerce business, and it's like the fact that he can, weigh on his skills to lean on his fans and still give them community and all that other good stuff is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So I mean, I'm definitely studying it, but it's still the long game. I'm not talking like YouTube is like the best thing in the world, but these videos kind of store up like mansion wealth, like a video that was once doing bad or seemingly doing bad was a flop or whatever ends up start gaining traction, So this is still a long game, but you have like that mid-range discoverability over here, and now you can slowly integrate these videos onto Instagram and have your community move over so that they're not jumping too freaking far, but they're definitely more than capable of clicking the links. I mean, just the whole detailed description in a YouTube video under the video is way more detail oriented than Instagram. I mean, you get thousands of characters and you can do hyperlinks and all that stuff. And if you're, like a freelancer or you're making tutorials or doing whatever and you have your own website and you sell your own stuff, you obviously want people to come over here. So, now again, you still have to make good videos. There's no way around that. But if everybody, but yeah, you can end up taking these people from over here to over here. If you're an artist or a freelancer, you can end up, or you're, you got your Spotify. You could add Spotify over. I wouldn't actually add Spotify over here because they don't offer much pay, But I would put Spotify over here. But if you got people on your YouTube, obviously they will definitely more than likely go to your Spotify. So this is still playing the long game because you're not everybody on Instagram uses YouTube the way it's intended or to its full purpose in the first place. For some people, YouTube is strictly like video Wikipedia, and where they have a specific problem, they will go to YouTube for a longer video answer because they need somebody with more trust. You feel me? But people inherently trust YouTube. That's just what I'm trying to get at. So specifically if you're like a macho man or something like that, and you're working on cars, you feel me, and you don't want to go to a mechanic, you're probably on YouTube. Or you're a braider or something and you're learning new braids. Like we all use YouTube for different purposes. But for me personally, my Instagram algorithm is set to where I can feel like, I mean, I make content, so I view content very differently. So when I see a video that I like, I'm like, ooh, like that made me stop for more than 3 seconds. Like, what did he do that I didn't do? So I mean, that's why I follow people. But at the end of the day, on all of these platforms, there's a mass of people waiting to connect to your message on all of these platforms. No matter what, all of these platforms, there is hundreds, of thousands of people waiting to chant your music or, buy your glasses or anything, let's sing your songs. Here's my wallet, Louis V wallet. Everybody, there is somebody for everybody on all of these platforms. I swear to God, there's no lies about that. But it's all about figuring out your groove and using your skills. Nobody does you the way you do, so still playing the long game. But I'm definitely following this path as an artist because more or less I've checked out this video by John Makes Beats, or aka John Talks Beats. He talks music industry and music creation and all this stuff, and he's just a hit. If you're gonna study two creators, I would say John Makes Beats slash John Talks Beats and Daniel Dalen. One is an artist, one is a businessman. Go check those out. I think everybody needs different types of opinions to check on themselves, but let's get out there, understand that at the scope of each platform there are different kind of things to use. Obviously Instagram will give you discoverability but no money, so use that very wisely. And also on YouTube, my one note is that you can end up thinking you're making a bunch of quality videos. I would say get consistent on YouTube first. Don't worry about how you're coming off. Quality of the audio is definitely the most important thing. People will watch potato videos, but nobody will listen to potatoes. Potatoes don't got nothing good to say. So, but yeah, man, just figure out the groove on all of these programs because it's all different, but they're all integrated. They just don't want you to move from one platform to another, So take with that what you will. This is my 3-step process. Get consistent, get on YouTube, learn to integrate, and then you can move on from there. It is still the long game, but by God, why would you want to go blow up on Instagram or TikTok or any of that, and then you try to make a living off of it, and nobody is coming to your shit or buying your clothes or listening to your music? That is just a whole other problem. So I would say, especially if you have end goals, 5-10 year goals, you feel me, learn to do it now so that in the future you have an archive of videos and content that you can still batch up and move on to different things. So it's Xavier, baby. I got beats to make. I'm not sure if this channel is gonna be yappy and music. I don't know. Well, my shit cut out on me. Well, Jesus. It's just for the mic. My shit cut out on me. Everybody have a beautiful day. I was saying something about YouTube, but yeah, Xavier, maybe, man. I got beats to make. Everybody have a beautiful day. Janet, I'm sorry. I stole your pen from 3 years ago. I'm still using it, but she's safe. She's safe. She's safe. She's safe. She's safe. She's safe. Everybody have a beautiful day.